So today, we will be covering how to pick a pup and a trainer. Um, I was going to do this as a two-parter, but I feel like they kind of go hand in hand. Um, just because a lot of people wait till they get a dog or a pup, and then they go looking, or they wait till their dog has a bad behavior, and then they go and look for a trainer, and then they kind of feel rushed. So I decided to kind of put them together. So this, like I said before, usually I try to keep these around 30 minutes or so. This one could go a little longer just because of covering more stuff, things like that. So we're going to be covering more stuff. See, D says he's wild when company tries to come in the front door. Well, D, I can definitely help you work on that if you'd like. Just give me a holler, and we'll kind of figure out a time or what to do about it. All right, so way it goes is way I would like for it to go if it was a perfect world is if you know you're thinking about getting a puppy and you haven't gotten him yet, I would start out by going and looking for a trainer before you get him. Even if you've possibly put a down payment on one and know you got one coming or what have you, I would start looking for a trainer before you get the pup. Go, call your trainer, ask him questions, and I could give you kind of a generic list of questions to ask, but I feel like the questions are kind of per person, because questions I might ask is like if somebody's all positive trainer, but I'm not an all positive trainer. So you know what I mean? So I can't, if you want all positive, then that's what kind of trainer you need to look for. So I can't tell you what trainer is your trainer, but you will figure that out kind of when you go and talk to them. So, but what I can do is give you some hints on what to look for and things like that. So what I would do is, like I said, I would call a trainer, talk with him, ask him if you can come out and watch him train. I like to tell people to come out and watch me. Watch me train. See what I do. See if you like what I do. Talk to some of my clients and friends that have been training with me. Ones that have been training with me a long time and ones that just started with me. Because obviously the ones that have been training with me for a long time, well, hopefully it's obviously they like me. And then the new ones, what do they have to say? Because it's very important to talk to those people. I could tell you I'm the greatest trainer in the world, but if all of the people you talk to that work with me or have tried me say, I don't know, I'm kind of thinking about maybe going somewhere else, I don't quite like him, or I don't like the way he does this or whatever, then obviously it doesn't matter what I say. So it's very important that you talk with the clients. And like I said, go out and see them train. Actually watch them train. Take some time and block out an hour or two and go and just watch them. I like for people to come watch me and then ask me questions if they want. Come ask me some questions. Why I did this or why I did that, while I'm training. Because then it might help them make a decision. If they don't let you come out to watch them train, then to me that means that they're trying to hide something. They don't want people to see something for some reason. To me, that's kind of I would look for a different trainer. As far as I'm concerned, I would go somewhere else. But not only that, but make sure that you talk to several trainers. Don't just go out and hit one trainer up and be like, okay, I'm sold. Unless you just absolutely just love what you see. I would talk with a few trainers and go see them all train. You may go see one and go, I like the way that guy goes, but then you may see the second one and go, man, I really like that guy. So make sure you do that. Take your time. This is not a rush. Don't feel like you have to get out there and find a trainer right now, especially if you're trying to go ahead a time before you get your pup. And also, if you're not happy with your current trainer, don't feel like you have to stay with them. If you're not happy with them, let them know you're not happy. One, they may not know it. Maybe they can change something and make it to where you are happy. But all in all, if you're not happy, don't stay with them. Tell them you don't like them. It's not working out. Don't stay there just because you've already paid ahead of time. Ask ahead of time if there's a refund. If you got a 6-week class and you've only done 2, can you get the 4 weeks back? Is there any kind of a refund? So that way you know ahead of time. But I definitely suggest if you don't like the trainer, don't go, because if you don't like them, when you're wasting your time and your dog's time, and you're probably not going to train your dog properly because you're not going to like what they're doing. So with that, that's kind of the basic on picking a trainer. Like I said, just kind of shop around. Don't take your time. Take your time. Don't feel like you're in a hurry. Anybody have any questions on any of that right this moment? Feel free to put those in. If not, then that's okay. We will start moving on. Or if you have a question later on pertaining to this, go ahead and put that in. All right, so this is picking a pup. So we will kind of be going through a lot of things on this. So if I'm going along, please stop me and ask a question if I'm moving too fast. So first of all, when you are deciding you want to get a pup, one of the things I suggest is to start looking and researching breeds if you're not sure what you want. Call breeders and talk to them if you have a certain breed that you would like. Don't just read the AKC's description of that breed, because I'm sorry, but the AKC's description, almost every breed is the greatest house dog or family dog ever, which is not true. So I would actually even talk to people that have them. Nice thing is now we have YouTube. You can watch videos on these dogs and kind of get a lowdown on what the breed is like. The nice thing about it is breeds are usually consistent in a temperament and what they do. You get a golden retriever, they're probably going to have some energy, but they're a good family dog. They're very laid back. They can take a lot of crud from kids. So if you got children, you don't want a dog who's high strung and doesn't want to be bothered. So that's why golden retrievers and things and like labs are a good family dog in general. So then also remember, when you go, you don't have to take the first dog you see. Look around. Go see some different litters. See what the dogs are like. You don't want to just jump on it. This is going to be a lifelong choice. Hopefully, if everything goes right, these dogs should be around, especially nowadays, 10 years plus. That's just the way it is. They should, there shouldn't be a reason why they're not. So remember, you're going to have these dogs for a very long time. So you want to make sure that they fit well with your family. And like I said, don't be in a hurry. When you go to a breeder, like I said, don't be in a hurry to look at them. And don't let the breeder intimidate you into feeling like you have to get this dog. Well, I'm making a special deal for you, and I'm holding this dog just for you, and I priced it just for you. I'll give you a discount. Now, if that dog was as awesome as they say it is, it probably would have been off the shelf, or they would be keeping it. So, so don't let them try to, car salesman you. Go out there and look around and see what all there is. All right. So now another thing that you need to do is decide what you want to do with your dog. You don't have to have an exact idea, but like if you wanted to just be a pet and hang out with you and occasionally go on some walks and sit back and watch TV with you and things of that nature, then that's going to also help you look at the breed that you're possibly going to want. If you just want a regular pet dog for just casual walks around the neighborhood and you're not going to do much of anything, you don't need to be running out there and getting a Belgian Malinois, because you're going to have a dog hanging off of chandeliers and eating your house. That's not a dog for denting a couch. You go out and you get you like a golden retriever or a basset hound or something like that, something that doesn't care to just kind of chill. You don't want to get a dog that's just so high strung that he is, you're not going to be able to enjoy him, and he's not going to even know how to calm down. So also try to visualize what your life is going to be in the future. A lot of people don't think about that. They get a dog, and they got a dog that they could do hiking with because they plan on to be hiking, and they're hiking now, but they just got married, and they're thinking about having children in a year or two. Well, you got to remember that dog is probably still going to be young. Now, if it's a high drive dog and it's a young dog and it needs a lot of burnt off energy, are you going to have that time once a baby comes along? Or if there's a possibility that your job could change and you could be working more. Are you going to have time for that dog? The worst thing you could do to a dog, especially that has a lot of drive and you've been doing stuff with him, like, hiking and going and doing a lot of stuff. The worst thing you do is all of a sudden just take all that away out of nowhere. So it just isn't quite fair to the dog. So try to visualize that. Of course, life is life. You can't always 100% plan on that, but you can sometimes have an idea of where you want to be and how you're going to get there. So hopefully I'm not moving too fast for anybody. If I am, please let me know. Does everybody still hear me okay? I'm just a little wary since last week's situation with everything. Whether or not comments are constantly coming through or not. So just let me know. If not, and anybody is texting me and they're not coming, or messaging me and they're not coming through, if anybody sees them that has my number, feel free to text me and let me know that there are messages and for some reason they're not coming up. So now, like I said before, okay, cool. Thanks, Amanda. Now I can see your thing. Hey, Emmy, or Billy, if that's you. Now, like I said before, kind of deciding what you want to do with your dog. I mean, you don't have to have it set in stone, but you kind of might have an idea. You see stuff on TV, you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. I wouldn't mind doing that with my dog when I get one and it's older. So that depends, like I said, that could depend if you want a pet or a working dog. Because if you want a pet dog, you're going for a different type of temperament than you are with a working dog. You're going to have different drives. I figured, Billy. But so you're going to need to look into that. That is something that I can kind of go over a little bit on another live Q&A, is the difference between pet and working. Or I could even just do a short live video at some point in time to cover that. As a matter of fact, I will make a note of that. But it's a different temperament altogether. I will cover a basic of that in here. It won't be very in depth. So you're gonna, like I said, you're gonna look at different types of temperaments of dogs. Now the other one is adopt or purchase. A lot of people are dead set on adopting a dog, which is great. We've adopted a lot of our dogs. A lot of ours are foster failures. That's why they're here, because they had an issue and they end up in foster care. Where else are they going to go? Well, here. But we also purchase our dogs as well, because we want certain things from our dogs. Like for Lydia, we got her a cattle dog because we wanted something medium-sized, compact, sturdy dog that had a lot of energy and drives, but could be handled by her eventually. And so that's why we got that. And you go to a shelter, you kind of, if you find a cattle dog, could have that temperament, but you don't know what skeletons it has in its closet. Because when you bring a dog in for adoption, they're not this. Their true temperament doesn't show up for at least 2 weeks to about a month of them being home with you, and they basically what's called unpack their bags and realize they're here, and then your real dog comes out. So you may get a dog from the shelter and you're like, wow, this is a great dog. He doesn't do anything. He kind of hangs out and sleeps, and he's real calm. But after a couple of weeks, all of a sudden you'll see this dog starting to get comfortable, and he's over here, he's over there, and he's over this, and he's doing that. It's because now he feels comfortable. And about a month into this, he could be a full-blown crazy maniac that you didn't realize you have. So like I said, when you purchase one, you kind of have an idea, because cattle dogs have certain drives. I know terriers. I get a terrier. I go get a terrier from a breeder. I know it's going to be a barking dog because that's what they do. They're going to have lots of energy and be maniacs. If I get a Malinois or a Dutchie, I know that if I don't have them doing a job from day one, they're going to eat my house. So you kind of got, so that kind of gives you an idea what, the difference between that. And then now if you adopt it, then you kind of, like I said, you kind of roll the dice on it. You may get a shepherd, but what's its temperament like? Why did he end up in a shelter? They could tell you something, but is that really why? So what I suggest to people is if you get a dog that you're thinking about adopting from shelter, I suggest that you foster it for a short period of time so you get a chance to see what this dog really is like. All right, so here we go. There we go. I'm going to make a note real quick. So, all right. And then when I go to talk to the people, when I want to go see this pup and I'm ready to go see the dogs, a big criteria for me, unless I know and trust the breeder, or I've talked to him and he just seems very knowledgeable and I trust them. If I'm going to go see the dog on site, I want to see the parents. The father might not be there because he could have been brought in from somewhere else, but more than likely the mom is there. That is very, very important. The reason being is because you can look at the mom and you can get a pretty good idea of what type of dog these could be. And what I'm talking about is if you go and you go see and you see them, the mom sitting over there to the side and she sees you and she's growling and barking and going nuts at the cage and you can't even get near her, well, that's possibly fear related. More than likely it's fear related, but that is a genetic passable trait. So if she's all skittish or if she runs from you, you go to the gate and she's like, I'm out of here, and she takes off running and knocks grandma all the way trying to get out away from you, then that's a big fear issue as well. In which case, like I said, you don't want that, because you got to remember that's a genetic trait that's passable. Not only that, but if you think about it, these puppies spend at least 8 weeks of their lives they spend at least 8 weeks of their lives with their mother, and she is imprinting these personality traits on her puppies. So if she barks and runs from this, or barks at this noise, or barks at that noise, or barks at these people, these puppies are soaking that up. Every little bit of it. They're like a sponge. They're taking it all in. So this could end up being an issue. You might end up with, so if I see a dog that acts like that, I politely tell the people, thank you very much. I got some other dogs I want to look at, and I go. I don't say anything negative like your dogs suck, or what the hell is this crap, or anything like that. I'm just polite about it, and I thank them, and then I leave. Like I said, just because that's not what I want. And be aware that some of these people may try to pull that, well, it's just being protective of the pup, of their pups, and she just had this litter and all this. No, that's BS. If it's a good dog, it's a good dog. It doesn't matter if the pups are there. My dog Tick, she did protection work and everything else, but anybody could go in there and pick her pups up. Why? Because she was confident. Nothing was going on. Nobody was being hurt. If somebody would have probably done something to one of them and made them squeal like they were in pain, she probably would have done something. But that was only because of the need to do something. So don't let them try to lie to you. If you don't like what you see in the parent, more than likely those pups will have it. I just walk then. Politely say thank you and go from there. All right. Now, what I do is if I kind of like what I see, the mom seems to be all right, and there's no issues with her. That's funny, Billy. Now, if I like what I see with the parent, then what I do then is I go and I watch the puppies interact with each other and even interact with their mom for a little bit. Then I pull them apart and away from the mom, get the mom out of there, and I see how they are with each other. If you have a dog that's over here by himself and could care less what's happening, that's a trait that you're probably going to see. He's not going to really care. You're going to have to bide for his attention because he could care less about everybody else. If he's up his mom's butt and won't leave her side, and every time she goes away, or when she leaves, it's up your butt and won't leave, and every time you move, it's sitting on you and leaning on you, that could be a bad thing. That could be a separation issue. It could have a problem with being by itself. What you're looking for is you're looking for the dogs that are playful with each other. This one rolls that one rolls this one. They just wrestle and tussle, and they have a good old time. No big deal, like puppies should. Even if somebody growls here, but then they wrestle, it's okay. It's just as long as they're having a good time and it's back and forth. So that's what that's what you want to see. Now, if you see a puppy or two that you like out of that group, you take the pups that you like and you separate them one by one, and you take them and you see how they act by themselves. This is also a key, because being together in a group and wrestling together, they still find the strength from each other, and they're comfortable with each other. Now, when you take them away from mom and from their siblings, now you could possibly see a change. You want to see how clingy they are, or if they run to get back to the litter, like they can't wait to get back to where they came from because they don't want to be here. You don't want that. That dog is like, for the love of God, man, this world is scary by myself. I don't want it. It doesn't mean that it may be a horrible dog for pet stuff, but if you want a dog that wants to go do things and have fun and doesn't care if you leave and come back, and when you leave, it doesn't just ape shit and eat the crate and tear the house down and poop itself and everything else, that could be that dog. So, not that it couldn't possibly be worked with, but you're going to have to do some work and know it. Another thing you want to see is if he's afraid. Is he afraid of things that are out there? Or does he interact with you and play with you? Does he want to play with you? Great. Gets over there and hangs out with you and does stuff, that's great. So then what I want to do is I want to take like a ball or a toy, and I want to play with it and see how he reacts with it. If he wants to interact with me with food and toy. If so, then that's a good dog. That's more than likely he's going to be a good adult as he grows up. He'll have a good temperament. Now, another thing you can do is a temperament test. That's where you take your dog, take the puppy, and you pick him up, and you do what's called a toe pinch. You pinch between the little skin between his feet right here. And it's just an even pinch. You're not trying to take his foot off or anything, but you want to pinch it and you want to see how he reacts to it. Like when you pinch it and he yelps, is he had enough? That's it? Is he out of here? Does he recover from it? Like you pinch it, he looks at you like, what was that, dude? All right, well, let's play around and have fun again. But if he doesn't and that's it and he's done, then that's a dog that's not going to be able to take kind of what the life throws at it, kind of thing. His recovery rate is not the greatest. Another thing you want to do is you want to take a ball and you want to roll it and see if he chases after it and plays with it. If he does, that's good. Now, if you roll it and he grabs it and he comes back to you with it, that is great. That means you got a dog that wants to interact with you. He wants to play with you. He wants to do things with you. That is an awesome dog. Then another thing you want to do is you want to take him and you want to roll him on his back. What you're looking for is you want to kind of pin them down and you want to see what they do. If they just lay there and give up and don't do anything, that's your straight up pet dog. He just doesn't really care. Like, whatever. What I look for for a dog is I want a dog that puts up a little bit of a fight. Just for about 10 to 15 seconds. He puts up a fight and then he settles in. I want him to settle down. That means that dog's got a little bit of drive. You can work with him. He'd be a good dog. Now, you get a dog who you pin down like that and it doesn't give up and it fights and fights and fights and fights. That is more of a dog that would be more like for police work. He probably would not work in the house because the way you would have to correct him and take care of him, he might actually try to correct you back. So I wouldn't suggest him for a regular household. Anybody have any questions so far? Because we're kind of making our way through this a little faster than I thought we would, actually. So, another thing too is, like I've said before on the one video I did about building the bond with your dog, I don't let my dogs play with other dogs or people, at least not excessively, even with the pet dogs. Now, that doesn't mean other dogs shouldn't be around. You want to reward your dog and do stuff with other dogs around, and with people around, but you want to be the most important thing. So if you're out, you have your dog on leash. If other people are standing there, they ignore him, and you feed him and do stuff with him. Even if they pet him, when he leaves them and comes to you, you feed him and you give him a lot of praise. I don't necessarily let the other people feed them. Everything is awesome with me, because then people, like I said before, people, they're not bad, they're not good, they're just nothing. It's just people. It's whatever, and that's it. Same with dogs. I get a dog if I got somebody I trust, I have a dog. I have them put a dog on a leash. We might go out in an open field, and they stand off to the side and walk their dog around, and I use food and play or whatever I need to get the dog's attention on me from that dog. Why? Because then dogs, just like the people, they're not bad, they're not good, they're nothing. It's all about me, and that's it. Now later on, when they learn that, then you can start bringing people in. And it doesn't mean that they can't. If they're a good temperamented dog, it shouldn't be an issue. After 11 years of doing protection work with Riddick and everything always being about me, when I decided to fully retire him from doing things and let him enjoy himself without, just let him be a dog a little bit, people could pet him, but he really didn't care. But it didn't bother him, even though people weren't all over him before, but because people weren't bad, they weren't bad. So he didn't care. His temperament was good enough that it was fine. So, probably the last thing I can think of is a lot of people, they'll be watching a movie and they're like, oh, that is an awesome dog. I want one of those. I got to have that. See that dog, what he did? He did a backflip and he was walking tightrope across this wire. Man, I want that dog right there. Well, chances are you probably really don't not only want that dog, but you don't need that dog. That dog right there, that is a dog that has to have training every single day. He has to have mental and physical training every day. Riddick, I worked every day. Saturday was the only day that we took off from training, but we ran. Every other day, he still ran, but we trained. Because if not, it would have drove him crazy. He just isn't a dog. And that's not the dog. So the dogs you see on TV, like you watch John Wick and there's the Malinois out there and they're doing that cool stuff. Or, even something as simple as, the dog from Frasier, and he did some good stuff. Like that dog, it was an old dog. The Malinois on John Wick were actually older dogs. They've been training for years. So you got to remember, there was a lot of time and effort put into these animals. So don't just pick it because of a TV show. You got to think through this. This dog may end up in your household and you're going to be like, holy crap, what did I do? I just adopted a demon, or I just purchased a demon. And so then it's going to be a pain. It'll be hard. So just remember that the dog on TV is not necessarily, they're cool, but more than likely they are not suited for a regular family household. Anybody got any questions on anything? I think we covered everything there. Any questions from anybody about any of this? I try to get through things the best I could with everything. As I'm taking a picture of the bed for some reason. How do I do that? All right, let's try to switch that back around. There we go. Accidentally somehow flipped it around. But any questions from anybody? If not, I will log off and wish everybody a good evening. And those of you that will be there on Sunday, I'll see y'all Sunday. Also, if you have any topics that you would like for how my opinion on and how I feel about, if you'd like to cover any topics, let me know. Thanks, Ira. I appreciate it. For those of you, Ira is, well, he's a friend that I met when I was in Memphis. He is also a fellow trainer down there, and I had the pleasure of training with him for a while when I was down when I was back home in Memphis. So that means a lot, Ira. Thank you very much. All right, everybody. Well, as far as I can see, I don't think we have any questions. So I guess I will be saying goodnight. Good night, everybody. And I will see y'all next Wednesday at 6 o'clock. Oh, was that Amanda? I'm. I got the I'm part. I'm. Oh, well, thank you, Amanda. Well, I appreciate it. Well, you know, I can tell you and show you things, and this goes for everybody, but I can tell you and show you things, but it's up to you to follow through with it. And, you know, the nice thing is you follow through with it, but when you don't, you know, and you tell me, you know, that you didn't. So, and then there's sometimes when you just come and get me and go, I need you, which is fine. That's what I'm here for. So, but you're welcome, Amanda. It's, you know, it's been a pleasure over these years working with you and your pups and with Jason. You know, not just as having you all as clients, but having you all as friends as well. It's been very nice. I appreciate it. Billy says, what would you suggest to do if you get a dog and it doesn't work out? Well, if you one about adopting a dog, that's why I suggest to people to foster them, because the dog may look really cool and do stuff, but you may get it home and realize that you know, it doesn't like your cats, you know, it doesn't like your kids, or when it gets comfortable, it doesn't like you. So with that, I mean, if you're willing to try to work through that with a trainer and a behaviorist, you could give it a shot. But the nice thing about it is you haven't fully adopted it yet, and you get to see it. But not only that, but then you get to also tell the shelter your perspective on the dog. Because if it hasn't stayed with anybody else and it's only been at the shelter since it's been turned in, then the owners may have given the watered down version. It's not necessarily that, oh, well, he just didn't like my cat. You know, not necessarily that it's a bad thing, you know, it's just they don't always give it. So that's why I suggest that. Now, if you are purchasing one, make sure it's got a guarantee. Get it in writing that you can return it if you don't like it. My little Patterdale I got has a guarantee. If I don't like him, I can return him. Even if it's just because I didn't like his ear. It didn't do what it was supposed to. I can take him back, you know. Make sure he's got a health agreement, and it's contractual that you can return it. Yeah, you know, and that happens. That's also because they didn't do their homework. They saw Malinois on TV and thought it'd be cool. They get it, and the darn thing is a maniac. So these, you know, that's their fault. So like I got mine over here trying to eat the bed right now. Hey, that, you know, but that's because that's the dog I wanted. So. Good question, Billy. Anybody else? All right. All right, everybody. Well, I will see y'all next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Y'all have a great evening. Give it one more second here, just in case. I know some of them are slow to come in. No problem, Billy. Are you going to be there Sunday? You're welcome, Amanda. Cool. See you at 9. All right, everybody. Good night. See you next week.